Okay, Deborah, it's all yours.
Hello. I'm Deborah Segovia. I am the chair of ASQ for this year. Tonight's going to be kind of a laid-back meeting. We're going to present about our ASQ experiences that we had this past May in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm actually really not really going to present about my experience per se. I kind of wanted to give a little bit of background. This year for ASQ, the officers that were elected, we really wanted to do something and change the way things are being done at ASQ the previous years. We wanted to get involved with the school, with GPSA, getting the students involved. We were going to be participating in orientations and making a presence. We participated this year in Community Fest. We got a booth out there, so people are getting to know that ASQ exists here in Nova. We feel that there's so many benefits for students in process improvement. Anybody interested in quality, supply chain, it can actually go through many levels of students. It doesn't have to be just process improvement, and we feel that not a lot of people even knew about ASQ. So this year, we were very fortunate that because we got involved with GBSA, they actually give fundings to the student activities, and we were able to get a budget for us to take additional students to the ASQ conference. So this year, it was a total of 4 students that went. It was myself, Marjine, which she may not be able to speak tonight, but Norbert, who's the vice president of ASQ, and Kara, who actually applied to go, and because of her application, we actually chose her out of all the students to go with us. What else was I? Oh, so the membership is actually only $29 to join for a whole year, but what you're getting back is you're getting back networking opportunities with people that actually have been in the field. You're getting discounts on all types of certifications. You're getting like less than half the price, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And for somebody that's looking for being part of quality and process improvement, getting certified is a big deal. So that also helps. You get access to all kinds of tools online, free ebooks. They have these discussion boards where people actually go in and ask questions that they're actually dealing with at work and get feedback from everybody. You just get amazing access to all of this stuff for $29 a year, but it's just a really good thing to have, especially going through, for me, myself, process improvement. The conference itself was really nice too. We got to see all kinds of vendors that are in the field, and you kind of get an experience of what types of tools are out there, data management, things of that nature. And another thing that I thought was pretty awesome was, as I'm going through the presentation, the scenarios that we actually see in class, people are living it. The presentations that I sat through and the discussions that they have, I actually remember going through them through class. So these are like real things that we are learning in class. So I thought that was pretty cool to see that everybody, and their feedback, their questions are like, wow, that's something I would probably ask. So even though we're students, I felt that the topics that I particularly chose, which was mostly in how to motivate change within a company, and having people and their attitudes, and how do you get people to change. So to see that everything that I question and everything that I'm like, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? People are actually living it at work, and these are professionals that are certified. These are professionals that have been in the field for years. So I thought that was pretty cool to be like, okay, so I'm not completely clueless to what's going on. Like, people have struggles every day. So with that being said, I hope to see more people join ASQ. I also want to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves real quickly. And so we're going to start with Robert.
Let me introduce, we have a student, Robert Donnelly. And so he's actually in the undergrad ops course, but he's finishing up his MBA. He's a part-time student in the ops classes, the last class before he graduates, and he intends on entering in the MBA in process improvement. He's currently employed by Castle Group as their chief operating officer.
Oh, wow.
So he's been a real joy so far to have in the class, and we're thrilled that he's hanging out with you today. So welcome, Robert. So like Deb said, we're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves so we can see who all is here. He said thank you, and then we'll continue. So I'll go on over to Norbert.
Let's start with Kara since he's going to speak next, and then I'll.
That's fine. Whatever you want to do.
Oh, never mind. Then start with Norbert.
All right.
Let me just zoom out a bit. There we go.
Got me?
You're fine.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Norbert Grouching. MBA Process Improvement, completing all things equal this December, into the second to last semester now. Also, Vice Chair of NOVA's ASQ branch. Really great year. We tried to do some things, and I'm glad that we've had some impact. I think we had a great team as well this year. Everybody was of the same mind, and we were able to really accomplish a few things. And our greatest hope is that we can continue that, or it can be continued as the next academic year progresses. So, look forward to telling you all about my experiences in Charlotte in a little bit. Thanks.
Introduce yourself.
Go ahead. Don't be shy.
I am Princess Stanley. I am currently an MBA management student, and I am looking to expand or enhance my MBA with the ASQ information. I strongly believe that ASQ has some things that could bring opportunity for my degree. Currently, I'm just a student. However, when I do go back into the work field, I do want to make sure that I have the door open. And I think that anything that involves quality and process improvement and project management, or anything that involves quality, is something that is, you don't have to be in a specific field to say you want to improve the process. You can just know that improving the process can not only help yourself, but it can help others as well. So
excellent. Welcome.
I'll introduce myself with the slide over. Happy Thanksgiving.
You're good.
All right. I'm Kara Bryan.
You go wherever you want.
ASQ
I'll follow
student
you.
member. Okay. MBA process improvement. Hopefully we'll be done in May with the rest of you guys. We can walk together. Yeah, and one more year. I'm also an employee over at MSU's College of Osteopathic Medicine. We do a lot with medical students. We do very fun things. ASQ is awesome. I was the lucky member to win the ASQ conference, so very much thank you for that. And this is my little presentation on what I gleaned from the annual conference. So that pretty much went over what the ASQ is, but there's certifications, training resources. She wasn't kidding about the forum. Every day I'm getting emails from the ASQ, and they're asking questions that you would see on like homework assignments, like how do I make a QFD? And I'm like, oh, I can use this in training class. So definitely check it out. For $29, I mean, you get like half off on the certifications. It pays for itself, really. Also, it's only $100 to attend the conference. It's normally like $1,200, and then we got reimbursed on that, so it's free. So even better. And even best, next year the conference is going to be in Seattle. We can take the monorail together. It'll be great. Okay, so I was the first time attendee to this, so my eyes are wide open. I didn't even have any expectations. The way it went was we first had a keynote address. It's a little raw, ASQ, you're welcome. There are also presentations and workshops, throughout the hour, and they have 10 different presentations you could choose from, and they're all talking about different things. If you're interested in lean management, there's a presentation for that. Quality management, presentation for that. Healthcare, there's presentation for everything. You could just pick and choose whatever you want. There's also an exhibit hall extravaganza to talk about, and of course, free lunch. We're all broke students. This is great. This is the exhibit hall extravaganza. Norbert, say hi. There he's talking with Margine, who is our treasurer, who is not here yet. And the exhibit hall was really great. There were dozens of booths. The booths all had, people, selling products, services. There were ASQ division members there. It was absolutely huge. It was a great place to meet and connect with people. I actually met with a sponsor that I'm looking to do business with in one of our departments at NSU. And I wasn't even expecting that when I came in there, so it was just mind-opening. So I needed to have a plan when I went into this. I had a boss, whenever he gives orientation to our medical students, he always says, you get what you put into it. So I went with that in mind. You know, I could just do the bare minimum of work. I could go to the presentations and then go back to the hotel. But if I actually put effort into this, I could get something out of it. So I had to think, okay, what am I currently? So I know that I'm incredibly introverted and awkward. I have a strange sense of humor. I'm an ASQ newbie, and I'm working in a non-quality oriented career. Now really every career has aspects of quality into it, but some more than others. So where do I want to be? I already have a job in mind. I have a vision of what I want to do with my life. And that's working in a customer-centric oriented career. Focus on customer-centric, it improves finances, everything's great. So my solution, being the introverted, strange person I am, I went to the most senior person I saw at these presentations, and I sat right next to them. Hi, I'm Kara. I'm an ASQ newbie. They were noticeably freaked out. They went with it. They laughed, they introduced themselves, and I made a friend. I went to a number of customer-centric presentations, which we'll talk about. But a lot of these presentations, the ones that I shot for, were ones that had a workshop component to it. So yes, they lectured, but they also had an activity involved that we did with them. And I sat next to the senior member who knew exactly what he was doing, so it was really great to learn from them at some of the presentations. So here's a list of the presentations I went to. Obviously there was the opening keynote, the rah, 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 go ASQ, the attendee orientation was new, and there was a bunch of other things. Number 5, the 5 whys. A bunch of us went to that one. It was probably the best presentation. I think Margine was going to present on that one, so I skipped it. So the one I focused on was number 9, was the customer. As you can see, I went to a bunch of customers, but it wasn't just that one. There was some stuff on lean, using SciPOC, which, by the way, Dr. Kramer, your presentation in class is much better than the one at the ASQ conference.
Great.
Glad you know. So I did this one, voice of the customer or just your own. When I came back from the conference, I was at a department meeting, and they had all these great ideas of things to change our school curriculum involving students, and they're already putting plans in motion. And I asked them, did you ask the students what they thought about this? Do you know what answer I got?
Why did you ask them?
No. I got about 5 seconds of silence. No one even thought about asking the student. I didn't even ask him about asking the clinical hospitals that were sending them all. I just said the student, one of the stakeholders involved, one of the customers. And I had 5 seconds of silence, and then their answer was, well, I think. I'm like, well, that's what you think. It's not actual data. We don't actually know this. So this is the one I want to talk to you about right now because it's what I'm currently living. So, define. I actually made a slide because I was thinking we had a bunch of undergrad students here last time, so I'll skip over some of it. But voice of the customer. It's an in-depth process of capturing your customer's expectations, preferences, and aversions, aka what the customer wants. If we're providing a service or product that isn't what the customer wants, they're not going to buy it. So we need to give them what they want if we want repeat customers. So arguably, the voice of the customer is in the define phase. What is the most important phase in the dynamic process, the make process? I kind of started from the beginning, so I was expecting undergrads here. But it's the define. I expect them not to know in 60 minutes, so I'm with experts here. Okay, so I personally think it's the define phase, because if we get that wrong, we're going to measure the wrong data, we're going to analyze the wrong add data, and then when we try to improve control, we realize that we just did all that work for nothing because we didn't fix anything. So, next most important thing, define. So we need to get the voice of the customer. All of our customers, not just one. So I'm just starting with students on ours, we'll get to that later. So how do we get the voice of the customer? Well, we can do interviews. Can you tell me positive and negative about an interview?
Well, people aren't really themselves, so kind of nervous.
Well, that could be it. It is. They're expensive. We get a small sample size. So let's say we're selling our product to millions of people. And we do 10 interviews? Yeah, they could be in-depth. They can be hour long, but we're not getting we're getting a lot of information, but it's not quantitative data. So we can also do focus groups. I actually was almost part of a focus group. I was walking in the street in New York City, and some guy pulled me aside. He's like, for $20, if you're in this focus group, well, I'll give you $20. That's pretty much it. So another thing, they're expensive. Again, it's a relatively small sample size. We may get the data on 30, 40 people when we're trying to sell millions. That's not everybody. It requires a good facilitator. When you get a bunch of people in a group, the conversation starts off correctly, but then they get sidetracked. So let's say we're trying to sell shoes, but then the conversation is talking about chewing gum. You need a good facilitator to make sure we're on track. We also could experience groupthink. That's when everyone comes to a consensus. We need some conflict in there. Get some more honesty. But, we're just like, oh, I want to get out of here. Let's just all agree with each other. So, you're getting good data at focus groups, but there are those problems. Especially, there's always that one guy in the group where you're just like, oh my gosh, shut up. I don't want to hear from you anymore. So what is one of the best ways that we can get data from a lot of people? Surveys. Surveys. So surveys. So this is what I'm kind of doing at work right now. We're looking at surveys to revise the current ones we have. But oh my God, did you know it's difficult to write really good survey questions? Yeah, I wasn't aware of this beforehand. I just was like, oh, it's a survey. We do these all the time. You just write some stuff down and get data. Nope. So good survey questions are closed-ended. We don't want to say, tell me about your experience on this clinical rotation, because you're going to get answers varying from a whole essay word to one word and different words. How many different ways can you quantify the word good? They can use different adjectives. It's really difficult to select. So we want to provide the answers for them. We do the Likert scale. 1 to 5, 1 being terrible, 5 being good, whatever. And we want to be able to easily collate and analyze those responses. Extract the data, we can do whatever we want with it. So here's an example. How much fun is shopping in the store? So our answers are provided, extremely satisfied to completely satisfied. We can easily collate and get those answers right. Just pull it out. All right, what about the question? How much fun? Fun when you shop in the store. Is that a good question? Well, what's your definition of fun? I always have fun buying batteries. Yeah, sometimes when you shop, it's not for fun, it's for family. Yeah, so that's a weird question. Why? Because it's biased. Biased questions. We're telling them what to think, even if we're not consciously doing it. How much do we like our product? We're already telling them that, hey, maybe you should like our product. So what you want to do is you want to keep it neutral, unbiased. How would you rate our product? Clear mind. They can use critical thinking if they want. We're not forcing them, or we're not even pushing them, even if unconsciously it thinks we're an idea. So we want to use unbiased questions. Another thing, we want it to be mutually exclusive. What type of exercise do you prefer? Anybody see the problem here? Well, what if you don't like to learn? Deb, look at your answers. You gotta prefer one of them.
Yeah, you got aerobic and running.
Yeah. Aerobic and running. I like doing aerobic and running. I really like running. That's my favorite. But I like biking too. So I'm going to choose aerobic. But now they're not capturing the data that I like running. So they're going to change their whole business on this. They're going to change their product offerings, their marketing based on my answer aerobic. But really, I just want running. So make sure that your answers are mutually exclusive. Otherwise, you're not going to capture the correct data. Double barrel questions. How would you rate our products and services? Who can tell me what's wrong here? Well, we could be different grades or products and services. Correct. I love the product, but I hate the service. So, product gets a 5, service gets a 1. How am I going to rate it? I don't know, 3. Again, they're going to capture this data. So they see the 3 for this, and they're like, oh, we need to improve our product because it only got a 3. Well, the product's perfect. They just don't know that. Their service is what they need to improve. But do they know that with this question? No. So, this is another one, and I was really shocked to hear this. This was an anecdote given by the presenter. So his wife had purchased something from Amazon, and she absolutely hated the product. She wants her money back. So she goes to write him an email, demanding her money back, and she sees she actually has an email from them. How convenient is that? Super convenient. But it's one of those, rate our product, service, whatever, and win a chance for a $100 gift card. So he walks away while she does a 10, 15-minute survey. And he comes back, and he's like, oh, so did you say how much you hated the product? She's like, no, I gave it all 5s. He's like, why would you do that? She's got, I wanted to win the gift card. Now, we don't have an answer on how to combat that, because you can even say, your answers do not affect your chances of winning, because some people just think it's a lie, but this is something to be wary of when you design it. You may have people who may answer like that. So that's what I got out of it, because we're currently doing surveys right now, and I was able to actually talk about this. Seriously, we think I came back, you know, I was like, did you get the voice of the customer? Well, how are we gonna get it? There it is. That's awesome. Yeah. So lessons learned. Quality is absolutely everywhere. The shirt, the table, whatever, all these divisions. We had management, lean, statistics, auditing, healthcare, you name it, quality is involved. It's everything. You can get a job in anything, just undertake it. So being open to new experiences is rewarding. When I sat next to those very strange strangers who totally were cool with me, I met a lot of new people, made a lot of new friends. There were ones, they work on nuclear submarines training 19-year-olds how to do this. They're like Six Sigma organization. And then you have ones where he's like, yeah, I'm retired, I'm going to do science fiction work. Very strange thing. But, you know, also, you know, I talked to these people at the booths and I'm like, oh my God, never thought I would like your product, but I think we could use it here. So just being open to new experiences, you can find anything. I have no expectations of that except I can always do them. I also prefer workshops to lectures. It'd be cool if they had more presentations like that, where they had a workshop component to it. I learned by doing, not by hearing. Also, that survey writing is pretty complex, even though I didn't think it was. Last but not least, I cannot afford a BMW i8. I certainly that one. How much do they cost, Dr. Carter?
$150,000.
Yeah, you can get it. So some things I would have liked to see at the ASU, I would have liked the young professionals presentation. We're student members, you know, we're doing quality. What is quality? I mean, we're learning it, but maybe we don't know. But don't just limit it to students. What if you have someone who's at this new quality organization, like go to this conference to learn something? Maybe they need an introduction. Why am I here? How do I get started? I also would like to know what ASU can do for me, what resources, certifications, training opportunities they offer. It was not mentioned during the employee orientation, not employee orientation, attendee orientation. But it would be good. Yes, some of the stuff is posted on the website, but who has the time to read every single page? And not to mention when you get a group together, someone asks a question and then you feed off from them. And, you know, they should be marketing. You know, we paid $1,200. Well, these students diversity. I didn't pay anything. And I also would like more workshop-oriented presentations, because again, I learn by doing, and I like to think other people are the same way. That's my personal bias, so that's what I would like. And thank you. Any questions? Cool. Are you going to pull that? You're next.
Thank you.
Let me get the box.
That's qualities everywhere. It's so stunning. Right.
Okay.
All right. Any idea on where the machine's going to be here? Does it feel like, I mean, I can talk for an hour. All right. Okay.
No.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Hold on. Let's see. It didn't show on screen. Yeah, it shows on the wall. The LED.
Okay, so this is a plan. All right, no problem. So, just going to run through these intro slides very quickly because I think both Deb and Kara spoke a lot about it, but I have to draw note to our good friend here, Mr. Ishikawa, and fishbone analysis. We were fortunate to be part of the Team Ishikawa for a little competition during the conference. Our team actually won during the conference, and they were giving away almost 100 more votes. And the prize was five complimentary entries to next year's conference, as well as five something else?
The Amazon Echo or something like that.
5 Amazon Echoes, so 10 prizes. No one from Nova won any. Yeah. Our team won. That's what counts, right? It's a team effort.
Exactly.
So the conference, over 2,500 attendees from more than 45 countries, 120 exhibitors, professionals. The breakdown. We've got almost half of them are managers. Can't get a breakdown on what other is. We have to one quarter of this is other. I don't know what that is. Majority are managers. The industries, no surprise, the largest for quality is in fact manufacturing, but look at service. Service is growing. And here in South Florida, where service plays a big part, you can see that quality is important to us here as well.
Yep.
That's going to change now with you in the correct era. Again, 27% other, no idea what that is. So, background, just as Kara said, we've got 100 plus sessions and workshops. Many of them were concurrent. There were so many really great sessions that you really had to choose and cherry pick. And that was probably one of the challenges, but that's how conferences go, I imagine. 10 networking sessions where we were able to mingle with the professionals there, 5 keynote speakers, live case studies which actually showed real case studies that are occurring at companies across the world, and they had presentations up that you can walk through, have a look at, and the people were actually there to speak about it. Satellite sessions, which is a combination of a workshop and tour, so they took you to different locations and you got to see how quality operated in that environment. I think there was one at, on the television station, there was one at the metro rail there. Cats, Charlotte.
Yeah,
Something
we had a hard time trying to
transit
figure
system,
that out
yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. Then there was Quality 4.0, the future of quality. That was really nice. It was a little booth in the exhibit hall that had TED-style talks exploring the impact of disruptive technology. So almost every hour there were about 15 or 20-minute little presentations about new technology that can shape the world for quality as we know it. And then there were the after 5 sessions, which were less informal and interactive if you're looking for workshops. You know, those were areas to look at, but some of them, I went to one, it was quite an experience. Yeah. It involved pullback racing cars and styrofoam hats and colored pencils and multimedia. These are the presentations that I went to. There were a couple other group events like the exhibit hall extravaganza and the attendee orientation. I didn't put there, but as far as presenters go, these were there are 8 of them up there. AF02, that's the after 5 session. Yeah. The name says it all. But if you look at these presentations that I went to, there's a particular theme through there, similar to what Deb was talking about, you know, how you roll it out, the people aspect of it, something that's very, very important to me. Because I figure here at Nova, we're doing a lot of the practical aspects of it, the tools, the theory, etc. I wanted to hear from those out there what's really happening in trying to translate that theory, that academic side of it to the practical, real life with the people who will be, in fact, you know, a part of this quality improvement. So I've selected 2 out of these presentations to really touch on, give a little summary. Leading when you're not the boss, hints from Deming, and changing competencies for quality professionals. I'm going to really quickly now. So this was presented by Paul Armstrong in Who's Approved. Really energetic guy, great presentation, very interactive. You just thought it was a guy standing up in the middle of the room, but he was walking everywhere and just really engaging. And so what he said, one of the things was leadership skills versus technical skills and abilities. It's not a linear relationship. So if you have skills on the x-axis and leadership skills on the y-axis, it's not a straight line. It's not one-to-one. It's not. It isn't. And one of the things that he spoke about was that you know, it's not necessary for leaders to have all the technical skills or ability for each substantive area within the company, but it is important for all the people who got whatever skills they have to have some measure of leadership ability, because now with the way companies are changing, there's more and more team activity and more changing of the guards for team leadership, etc. Case in point, I've got to draw on the experiences at City Furniture. You know, I've been fortunate here to have been to City Furniture twice for a detour, and between Andrew and his dad, I've heard them speak 6 times in the last year. And every time it's always something new that I hear that's going on there. But one thing that comes through is that these quality circles that they have, where each month they get a budget and they to work on whatever project, and it's their associates. It's not the VPs, it's the associates who are leading their teams. And so that speaks to this. Whatever your skill area, you need to have an ability to be able to lead teams. This is what Mr. Armstrong was quoting. He says, Deming says the aim of management is to enable everybody to enjoy his work, to create an environment where everybody may take joy in his work. I have enjoy and joy in italics. That was the theme of what Mr. Armstrong was saying. He said the task of managers is to provide and develop leaders who generate an environment of joy at work. So the question is, well, how do they do that? The first is by connecting. For those of you who have done the capstone course here, 5170, if you're doing it, you will know. You'll know this progression where you start talking about your vision, and then you create your mission, supported by core values to come up with that strategic position, your purpose, where you're going to go. And it's very important when that is created now to communicate to the people within the organization so that they're a part of it, so that you view them as partners. That's the first way of connecting, really having them connect, because everybody wants to feel like they're part of something else. The second way is to create something. They want to create, so in that communication, people get to recognize that it's no more about the silo mentality, but we're not interdependent. That creates a clarity in what our purpose is there. And then we can share our skills and experiences. And then finally contribute. First, to enable that is to remove the barriers of bureaucracy to make sure that we can actually do what we say we want to do. But it's also important to recognize, stonemason versus breaking stones versus building the cathedral. It's recognizing that what each person is doing is but a small goal towards a larger goal overall. And Mr. Armstrong gave a lovely example, his best example of what he thought joy at work was. It gave the impression of a mother changing a baby's diaper. And when you think about it, it's like, that's all three things going on there. He says, that's an intimate moment between parent and child. There's a connection that's going on. She's creating something. The bond that's there, but also poop-free diaper, right? A comfortable baby. Yeah, it's real. We've all been there. And then she's contributing. She's contributing to the growth of that child in ways that we can't always touch, but we know that it's happening. And so you use that as an example. So if you want to really have an image that everybody can relate to as to what joy at work is, picture that and try to achieve that in your organizations. Have to throw this next one in. So this I did not make this up because of our class last week. This Mr. Armstrong
infamous Norbert curve.
Yeah, the Norbert curve. That's right. So this is Mr. Armstrong takes Herzberg's two-factor theory and superimposes it onto the Kahneman model. Really interesting. So now he talks about the satisfiers, the hygiene factors, those things that job security, pay, benefits, etc. Those things that must be there. But just having them there doesn't mean that you're satisfied. It means you're not dissatisfied. It takes a little mind shift. But what he says really gets to helping employees to that point of really having that satisfaction on the job. Just like in the Kahneman model, is when we start to bring in those other things like the team activities, the stretch assignments, where the employees get that feeling of being able to create and to contribute. So that's where we're now in the other section now, with the motivators and the satisfiers and Herzberg's two-factor theory. I was paying attention to movie. So when I saw all of that, I came back to something that I've heard in several classes here, speaking about Menlo Industries, particularly lean entrepreneurship class. Dr. Hines was speaking about that. This is a quote actually from this book. It says, "Joy is designing and building something that actually sees the light of day and is enjoyably used and widely adopted by the people for whom it was intended. Our mission, which we take very seriously, is to end human suffering in the world as it relates to technology." That's an exact quote from Rich Sheridan, who's the author of Joy, Inc. He's the CEO of Menlo Industries, which is a company that practices joy every day in their work. Small software company, but it's amazing what they have been able to accomplish because of creating that connectivity and contribution, that sense of contribution in the organization. So this was Mr. Armstrong's presentation. The next one. This one was really, really interesting. Changing competencies for quality professionals to succeed. And Cara touched on wanting to have sessions with guidance for young professionals. Well, this sort of touched on that and sort of what's required down the road. So this presentation spoke about the skills required by quality professionals to meet key changes in business over the next 10 years and for advancement to the C-suite, corporate suite. Because quality isn't just about in the lab anymore. we can be in the C-suite as well. And we'll see why. So this research was based on a global research last year with leaders, different organizations, quality professional societies such as ASQ and IAQ, and emerging quality leaders across the world. One of the things that they pulled up was that there's a focus on lean methods and the need to incorporate reliability into our quality management. This one is very interesting. I love this one. Quality needs to be an organization-wide strategy managed at the board level, not a department anymore. Therefore, the language of quality needs to change from statistics to finance. Because if we're going to get to point number one, into the C-suite, we need to be able to talk the language of the C-suite. That's one of the things that quality professionals are going to have to develop more and more as they go forward. Talk a little bit more. So, some of the key business changes, big data. We know it. What is it saying? That the amount of data that's been uploaded in the last year is more than has been forever. It's so much, it's so voluminous, we can't keep it. But how do we analyze that data? What do we do with it? Disruptors will continue to deliver value in new ways. Just think Airbnb, Uber. Creative and innovative ways to provide value to customers. It's going to keep happening. People development, the issue of people development, developing our people, is going to change as baby boomers retire. No longer are we going to have people who are coming in straight after high school and working until retirement in one or two companies. That's out. It's very different now, and that's going to result in leaders who are coming in at younger ages with less experience in time, in terms of tenure, but they probably have a lot of academics. And so that's going to change how leadership occurs for many organizations. Products produced locally are going to be valued higher because of their perceived positive impact on the environment, or lack of negative impact on the environment. Artificial intelligence will play a greater role in the products and processes and our lives. So the need for quality AI is definitely out there. Quality management is going to struggle for resources for the same reasons. As we stretch more and more into the C-suite and quality develops as a profession, more and more you're going to find fewer and fewer people who can satisfy those needs. So much has to be done to develop the people for the future. So these are the key business changes. What are the skills and gaps that young and up-and-coming quality professionals need to pay attention to? Well, we need to make sure that as time goes on, we aim to become part of the upper management and develop our leadership skills and so on. That ties in with what Mr. Armstrong was saying. That leadership is important as we proceed to really take Deming and all the other gurus working into fruition. We need to be more innovative, creative, and business savvy. That speaks directly to non-traditional quality, but more true management and leadership, real business thinking. We need to be more skilled in advanced statistics. Now that seems a little odd compared to the previous point about being able to speak the language of finance. But understand it. Nobody is saying that advanced statistics are unimportant. Absolutely, that needs to be done, and done some more, because the saying we need to get into more statistics rather than a cursory approach. But
go ahead.
But in addition to knowing statistics, we need to be able to speak the language of finance.
Well, what's the importance of the advanced statistics? When you talk advanced statistics, what are we talking about? So not descriptive. It goes into what? Inferential statistics. In other words, being able to sample to determine when things have changed, and if so, so it's a matter of understanding correlation and things like that. So the advanced statistics are really looking for insights, no longer simply painting a picture of what is, but trying to understand why it is, and then also whether or not there's been change in what is. So I think that's when they say what is advanced statistics, those are some of the things that I think has high value toward the mission of what you're trying to do for the business changes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It goes beyond just saying that this is what is, the mean, median, mode, blah, blah, blah. It's more than just that. So based on all these things, this is what we can say has happened, is likely to happen, we should do, etc. And then translate that into a dollars and cents point of view so that when it gets into the C-suite level, there's a reason for that, which I'll talk about. The other thing is greater focus on failure analysis, root cause, and preventive action. That's the tools. apply quality thinking to other business functions. And that's what you were saying, for instance, that quality affects everybody. Yeah. And that's changing. That's what we need now to move out from that sort of departmental thinking as a simple function within an organization to realize that quality is moving away from just manufacturing values in everything. Value for the customer. And move beyond problem solving modes to value creation. Looking at the skills of a quality professional, here we go. It's pretty telling. The single largest segment is business acumen and leadership for a quality professional. You think maybe it's processing tools or critical thinking? No, business acumen. That speaks again to the need for expanding one's ability across the organization. There's that ominous other again. But it's sizable, it's 35%. Alright? Between other and business acumen, it's almost 3/4 of the entire pie.
Would you equate that to like customer service and things like that?
It would be.
I was thinking more along the lines of needing to know that business. Because we'll not only as quality, leaders do we get feedback from the people actually doing the work, but it's probably best if we kind of know what we're looking for.
No, at the same time as well, we can't actually accurately speculate on exactly what that would be, because this is based on the respondents for that research. So you could have people who are recognizing how the world is changing and giving answers like business acumen and so on. And some others may have been more specific to quality, for example. Yeah. And saying, okay, you need to know how to do the math. You know, imagine. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Survey says. But there were 5 specific responses that were mentioned. No surprise, business acumen and leadership was in there. It's 37%. Critical thinking and analysis. You don't even need to be in quality to be doing this. This is just straight business thinking. Employee performance and cultural change. Not just having an understanding of it, but being a part of affecting it. Again, leadership. Well, here, we got this one covered. Process management, improvement, and tools. And then we need to review what the value of quality really means. Changing the definition of it. And that was one of the things that this survey spoke about. This research spoke about changing the definition of quality to have a more strategic perspective as it affects organizational sustainability. This full report is available at this website. I tried it. But I'm sure we can send it on to those 2 ladies. Yeah. So, in closing, there were 2 things I wanted to say in closing. First of all, I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to have gone to this conference. It's my first time at the World Conference on Quality and Innovation, and my first conference since I've been here in the US, so it's a new experience. I really wanted to get as much as I could have from it. I think it was phenomenal. It opened my eyes up to many things. So I'm grateful to ASQ for that opportunity. The second thing that I wanted to say, and Cara touched on it, is that I recognize that there was a bit of a gap in activities to assist the young professionals in quality coming up, new quality professionals. And while there were 10 networking sessions, many of them were, shall we say, dominated by well-established quality practitioners. And there wasn't much of an environment to allow for true guidance. With that being said, we had a wonderful dinner on the Tuesday night, with Dr. Kramer, with Stephanie Thompson from ASQ, she's responsible for the student affairs from the Quality Management Division, as well as a contingent from the University of Missouri. The dinner was great, but the conversation after dinner was even greater. We started really talking about our experiences at the conference and what we feel can come out of it. Stephanie was taking photographs, she was taking video of what everyone was saying. There have been a lot of back and forth on LinkedIn about this afterwards, and I think one of the threads coming up was that need for that support from the seniors for the new quality professionals coming in. And I think she took it very seriously. There was talking about mentorship programs, and I'm really, really pleased to see that Nova is leading the way on that already, because we've got something set up in September to pull students together from the start of the academic year, as well as those who've left, come back and create that environment of guidance and mentorship. It's something that is well worth it. That was one of the areas that I felt really was a little lacking, but it's always an opportunity for improvement. And but overall, great experience. And so all I can say again is, see you at Seattle, 2018. Thank you.
All right, excellent.
Over to you, Dan.
Wow, great job, guys. That was amazing. I felt like I was like in class. So with everything that was said, there was something that in the conference that was lacking, like they both touched on. There wasn't really like a track for students or even like network events for students, and we did make our voice heard, so we're hoping that in Seattle they will change that. But I think if we get more students to attend, more of a presence, we can really make it to where we're going to be a really big part of the conference. I know Dr. Kramer has spoke to Lisa here, and she's thinking about maybe a booth for NOVA. So I hope to see that growing. I also have really high expectations for the next team of officers to keep ASQ going. It's very important. We put in a lot of work this year, and I've gotten very lucky that we all got very lucky that, you know, we have 3 officers that have the same mind, and we were all really focused and trying to make this grow, and we would hate to see that being, you know, not growing as we leave. So there's so many opportunities. Maybe we can even get people to go to 2 conferences instead of 1, because there are other smaller conferences that in Maine that Dr. Kramer was telling us about. So we have really high expectations. So keep in mind that we're going to have elections eventually. So we would love to see people that are as enthusiastic as we are about ASQ, and for them to continue what we started. Additionally, like Norbert said, we're going to start the mentoring, so we're hoping to see us, we're obviously going to be there, but the people that are about to graduate, to come by and tell the newer students, you know, what to expect. I got very lucky that when I started my very first class, I took like OD and marketing, and one of the students was in the process improvement, and he had taken some classes with Dr. Kramer, and you know, he told me the do's and don'ts. Don't take a class with this one. Expect this. He does classes this way. Email him, you know, join ASQ. And all of those things are very important, and that's how I got involved with ASQ, was because of that. And because of it, you get to go to tours. You get to do so many of the things that if you don't get involved, you just don't know about. But it's not even about just being part of like ASQ or going to a tour. It's the tools, the people, the networking that you take away from it. And that's going to last you a lifetime, and it actually really translates into what you're trying to do in the quality field or any type of field. So thank you for joining us today for our meeting, and we'll hope to see you guys next time. We'll have a meeting on the 4th Tuesday of July. So we hope you guys will actually come in or join us. Or June, yeah, sorry. My schedule is crazy. So the 4th week of June, or 4th Tuesday of June. And you guys can always join virtually if you can't make it, but come by. We have awesome food. Princess can definitely attest to that. So, but yeah, thank you so much, and you guys have a wonderful evening.
All right, excellent.
First,